Only a year ago, Keir Starmer looked politically invincible. He'd just won the second largest majority in his party's history, had ousted a Tory government that had been in power for 14 years, and appeared to have settled factional infighting within the party. The mere idea that he could be ousted prior to an election in 2029 seemed, frankly, ludicrous. However, following a year of U-turns and indecision, his poll numbers began to drop. And then, in the last couple of weeks, the party became engulfed in scandal following the removal of two senior figures from government. As a result, things are no longer looking as rosy for Starmer. A senior Labour minister has suggested it's now a matter of when rather than if Starmer goes, and there are numerous reports about a possible Andy Burnham candidacy. So in this video, we're going to have a look into the scandals that have rocked Starmer's premiership, and whether Starmer could actually be removed from number 10. If you want more UK political drama from us, check out our podcast Starmageddon, where we track the successes and failures of this new Labour government. Find it over on the TLDR Podcast's YouTube channel or in your favourite podcast app. So let's start by quickly explaining the two scandals that have suddenly put Starmer under pressure. The first concerns Angela Rayner, who was, until recently, Starmer's Deputy Prime Minister. In short, late last month, it transpired that Rayner had paid too little in stamp duty on a property she purchased earlier in the year in Hove. For various complicated reasons regarding tax codes and trusts, Rayner incorrectly claimed the property as her primary residence, thus avoiding about £40,000 in stamp duty, which isn't a great look for a housing minister. Following an investigation, Sir Laurie Magnus, the Prime Minister's ethics advisor, concluded that she had broken the ministerial code, prompting Rayner's resignation, leaving her positions of Deputy Labour Leader, Deputy Prime Minister and Secretary of State for Housing, Communities and Local Government. This was bad news for Starmer in and of itself, but it was especially bad because Rayner acted as something of a link between Starmer's government and more left-wing MPs and members, who are generally more sceptical of Starmer's political project. Rayner, for example, helped to strike a deal with Labour MPs during the welfare rebellion earlier this year. This only worked because she was both loyal to the government and to the left of the party. Furthermore, Rayner's resignation has triggered a deputy leadership election, which threatens to bring Labour's internal divisions out into the open. Only two candidates have made it onto the ballot paper: Bridget Phillipson, who's somewhat of a Starmer loyalist, and Lucy Powell, who's more from the left of the party. The risk for Labour is that this leadership election starts a public debate between Starmer loyalists and the Labour left over the government's direction, undermining unity at the worst possible time. Anyway, the second scandal concerns Peter Mandelson, previously the UK ambassador to the US. Mandelson was appointed in December last year, with his main task being building a relationship with the incoming Trump administration. Now, this was a calculated move from Starmer. Mandelson has been in politics for the better part of 3 decades and has had his fair share of scandals. He also, though, has numerous connections to the Trump administration and is well known as a skillful networker. However, in the last month or so, more details have come to light concerning Mandelson's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Last Wednesday, it was reported that Mandelson had written a letter to Epstein in his birthday book in 2003, where he described Epstein as an intelligent, sharp-witted man and his best pal. Despite this, at Prime Minister's questions on the same day, Starmer claimed that he had full confidence in Mandelson. Mere hours later, though, it was revealed that Mandelson had urged Epstein to fight for early release after pleading guilty in 2008 for a state charge of procuring for prostitution a girl below the age of 18, and that Mandelson told Epstein, "I think the world of you," the day before Epstein began his sentence. After this came to light, Starmer removed Mandelson from his ambassadorial role, but for many, this was too little too late, and questions are now being asked about exactly how much Starmer knew and when. Now, obviously, Starmer wasn't in a great place before these scandals. The Labour Party has been falling steadily in the polls ever since Starmer took office, and is now a good 10 points behind Nigel Farage's Reform Party and not far ahead of Kemi Badenoch's Conservative Party. In fact, this has been the sharpest first-year poll decline for any new British government since at least 1983. Starmer's own approval ratings are truly abysmal. According to the latest YouGov polls, his net favourability rating has fallen from basically evens in July 2024 to -44 today, with just 24% of Brits saying they have a favourable opinion of him. This is worse than any other party leader. Ed Davey, for instance, has a net favourability of -3. Nigel Farage is in second place at -29, Kemi Badenoch stands at -31, and even Jeremy Corbyn on -35 beats Starmer by a solid 9-point margin. It's also one of the worst in Europe. Guardian analysis from the end of August, for instance, found that Starmer was the second least popular leader in the G7, ahead of only French President Emmanuel Macron, although it's worth saying here that Macron has been in office for about 8 years compared to Starmer's 1. Nonetheless, there was still a sense that, whatever his obvious electoral shortcomings, Starmer was safe in his position as Prime Minister and Labour leader. After all, Labour don't usually oust their leaders, and the Tories proved in their last few years in government that ousting an unpopular leader isn't always a good idea. Unfortunately for Starmer, these successive scandals have apparently been the straw to break the camel's back, and there's since been a stream of well-sourced reports claiming that Labour MPs are on the cusp of ousting him. In fact, there are even reports that the Labour Mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham, might be the first to move against Starmer. Burnham is incredibly popular, and polling shows that the British public actually think he would be a better Prime Minister than almost any major Labour politician. He's also, in the last couple of weeks, launched a new campaign group called Mainstream, which could serve as a vehicle to help him achieve power. There's even a constituency in Manchester, Gorton and Denton, that's likely to hold a by-election later in the year, as reports are growing that the suspended Labour MP, Andrew Gwynn, will step down. This would provide a perfect route into Westminster for Burnham, who's required to be a sitting Labour MP in order to stand for the leadership. After winning this by-election, Burnham would only need 80 MPs to support his leadership challenge for it to go to a membership vote, which he would likely win. The main hurdle is actually being selected as the candidate for the by-election, as the National Executive Committee, or NEC, which is loyal to Starmer, would know that blocking Burnham from standing might be the only way to save Starmer. Doing so, though, would instigate a messy and very public war between the leadership and the membership, a war that very few in the Labour Party likely want. With the rise of complex geopolitical situations like these, as well as confusing economics and the growth of AI, things are moving very fast right now. It would be sensible then to begin improving your critical thinking skills so that you can keep sharp and better understand what's going on. And the best way to do this is through Brilliant. Brilliant knows that learning a little every day is one of the most important things you can do, both for personal and professional growth. So not only do they offer a perfect mix of engaging problems and competitive features, but they also keep you motivated with daily encouragement, helping you better understand the world around you. Whether you choose to dig deep into complex topics such as how AI works in the world, or stretch your analytic muscles through logic and code breaking, Brilliant can offer you everything you need. Whether you're at home or on the go, you can become a better thinker and problem solver one hands-on lesson at a time. To start your learning journey and try Brilliant for free, visit brilliant.org/TLDR, scan the QR code on screen, or you can click on the link in the description. By doing so, you'll also get 20% off an annual premium subscription, and they'll know you came from us, which really helps us out.